Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces. Witamy wszystkich na 412 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy czwartek, 5 listopada 2020 roku, a tematem jest 352 spotkanie. Jest to tłumaczenie z języka angielskiego na język polski, a czas przetłumaczony na dzisiaj to jest od 6 minut do godziny 15 minut. Po warsztacie, jak zwykle, zapraszam do rozmów, zadawania pytań, na które postaramy się odpowiedzieć. Tak więc zapraszam do obejrzenia.
Again for another Knowledge Seekers workshop here. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good afternoon, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation. We do apologize, or in a way it's good sometimes to have a change. It's the first time ever we rounded it 12 hours from the day we started. We started about 7 years ago, around this time, October, November, and we used to start at 4 o'clock in the morning with Mr. Rick Crammond. Now we managed to delay it by 12 hours. We do it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for the first time. I hope it doesn't become a bad habit. Thank you very much for Rick for being there for such a long time during the early mornings and late nights. In so many ways, we are very upbeat, very happy to teach in the next level of the knowledge of the universal knowledge. What this means has been explained some 2-3 weeks ago. As of last week, we entered the knowledge that is used in the universe, not the knowledge which the man has gathered over time in bits, and in the way he has progressed, mankind has been positive in being able to at least ignite his brain to function in a way of understanding part of the work of the universe, at least in his own environments and his matter state. As we said, we have to understand the totality of the science of the universe, that as we are entering in the deep space, we know what we are doing, we know how we can use everything. We cannot go, as I said, with a donkey trying to use a spaceship and the knowledge of it, how to handle a donkey and try to fly in a spaceship, or further on within the structure of the energies which is hidden within the structure of the body of the man in different shape or forms. We call it the soul, the totality, the center, the son of the man. In so many ways, when in the holy books we read about the son of the man, the sun not as a sun, but sun as a light, enlightenment. And this is interesting to understand the creation, the cornerstone of how life and how energies lead to the creation of the first atomic structure, first molecular structure, first understanding of the energies of the universe in their motion. In the last couple of weeks, as we opened the knowledge of universe, we explained in a very simple way how atoms, or how first plasma were created. But in reality, we have never fully understood the structure of elements of the creation. Do we have atomic structure in the plasma, which means fields interact, but they never create the dimension of matter state as we see it? How do they exist? How does the first atom ever been created? Do we call an atom of hydrogen, which is an electron and a proton, or energy balance of the two? Or do we call a combination of the atom as totality of the energies of balance fields of the proton, neutron in the center, and a collecting electron on the boundary of the energy? But how do we get the first electron and proton in the center of an atom? And what we call deuterium. How is it got in there? How is it created? What is the cornerstone of the creation? What is to understand of the totality of the knowledge of the creation? How do you put the two together to get what you need? Where does the essence of the creation of the atom come from? What dictates the magnetic field strength of a plasma of a neutron? What dictates the size of an electron? In space, we need to understand this if we are going to survive and we are going to create a condition of life and systems that we can live, we can utilize the energies of the universe. In the present knowledge of physics, in the present knowledge of atomic and nuclear physics, we don't understand, we have never been explained how did an atom of deuterium come to exist? How does a hydrogen atom as a single proton and electron exist? And what forces hydrogen to be both in the dimension of single proton and electron and single neutron, electron and a proton? Where does the essence of the creation comes from? Where and how these plasmas in upper atmosphere or from the interaction of the fields of the universe upon each other create these plasmas? Mankind has to become clear about one point. Atomic hydrogen, atomic deuterium, atomic tritium, or a neutron is not specifically characteristics of gravitational field environment like Earth atmosphere, like Moon, like other stars. We have the same things within the space gap of the universe between the planetary systems, between the solar systems, between every other thing. Universe, by the interaction of the fields, continuously produces these plasmas, these magnetic fields that for themselves they create environments within the structure of the universe that they create what we call invisible stars, invisible solar systems, invisible but we cannot see, but not being in a matter state of more or less planetary system. What this means? It means mankind in a space will travel in a fast moving environments that suddenly realizes is traveling within the structure of a solar system or a planetary system, which is just only in the form of the plasma and has no physicality. And if we enter such a position with a specific energy characteristics of a spaceship or even the soul of the man, these environments could change suddenly into a matter state because we change the dimension and strength of the fields in their environment. In the course of the travel into the depth of the universe, mankind will come across this. Our systems will come to understand the existence of the plasmatic universes, plasmatic stars, and planetary system. That they stay in a massive energy pack, and with the present systems that the man has, we do not have the understanding of the detection and confirmation of their existence. In a coming time, now that we have developed the universal flight systems, we will be and we have to understand these. One of the cornerstones of the knowledge is understanding of the creation of the first atom. be it in the plasma state, be it in the matter state, be it out of the creation of the interaction of the matter or plasma together. In the structure of the new plasma physics, in the dimension of universe, we have for the first time to explain how is an atom of hydrogen or deuterium is created. We have just accepted it. We have never explained the depth of it. We have never understood the principle behind its creation. In so many ways, we need to understand this. We have to understand how an atom, especially atom of a higher order, are created. How come we have so many single neutrons in the environment of our atomic structure in a heavier element? How do these manifest themselves in a plasmatic condition? The biggest dilemma for the present nuclear physicists and plasma physicists is to explain how we can create an entity in magnitude, in the strength and size of a neutron. We have never managed to do this. Our knowledge, with everything we have, our scientists have not managed to fully understand the structure and create a single neutron and then control and watch the cycle of its life. Its decay is atomic decay, what we call neutron as a fundamental plasma. That its existence and its interaction as a field with the field of its environment leads to the losses of energy due to field friction that plasma of a neutron cannot sustain life as it is. What does dictate the point of the division of the neutron is unknown up to now. And what dictates how much will be taken from or given to that certain electron finds a space gap and distance from the center of the matter element. One of the biggest questions which I put to many scientists and during my student time to the nuclear physicists was very simple. We say we have plutonium. What electron in the orbits of the plutonium or uranium belongs and connected to which proton? And what is a sister neutron? Do we always have only specific electrons in a specific position in the nucleus of the element that cover that position, and due to its existence confirm its position in the structure of the whole atomic structure? And how come in the plasma physics we see one, and when we bring it in interaction with the physical matter state of inertia, it breaks itself up into electrons and protons and manifests itself as a solid uranium? in the understanding of universal work, we need to understand these, because in the universe, mankind will come in touch with matters much, much heavier by order of magnitude, plasmatic environments, than any matter state man knows up to now. Or in the subatomic. The understanding of the work of the universe does not come by bypassing certain fundamental principles and understanding. And the present physicists, as much as the present knowledge seekers, have to understand these. As in the coming time, in the space, you become the cosmologist. You become the physicist. It's you who has to understand and analyze and understand the fundamental structure of any plasma. And how can we bring the center of this plasma in touch with the inertia of a plasmatic field to create a plasma of an element, or with the inertia of the matter state and convert the same plasma into matter state of its existence. In a way, we have to understand this, that in the depth of the space, we should be able to create any matter by directly or indirectly introducing the inertia and gravitational field forces of the environment to manifest the matter or the plasma according to the need of the man. If we understand this, we will understand a simple fact, that man, with this new knowledge, has the ability to create a soul of any element. And this is the major understanding which the humanity and the rest of the, what we call the citizens of the universe, have to, with no choice, to come to understand. But it's not strange that by collective energies of the human environment to create the soul, to create the existence, we do that in the womb of the mother. We bring two different fields together, and from their interaction, we create the soul of the child. Then the soul of the child has a measurement, has an understanding of the strength, and if we get to this point, then we become the creator of the souls. We decide the creator of the creation, what to create. And when we create that and we bring it in interaction with the inertia or magnetic field of his environment, would it change to a fish or would it change to a man? Have we, or can we get so advanced that we can create this, in essence, the strength of the soul of the man, that when we introduce it to the atmospheric condition of this planet, as it creates gold and silver, it shall create man. In the old way, in Farsi, we used to say Astaghfirullah, means God forbid. But now, God allows. We are taught, we understand, and the scientific organizations have to endeavor to understand more. If making what I call cloning, now we have to understand the essence of the truth of the soul, that we don't need to clone. we can lead to the creation of the perfect soul that through its existence with the interaction of the fields of its environment will change to what is the desire of the man to enjoy and not to possess. The teachings are become more in a way of you triggering your own knowledge, looking in a broader way at the totality of the knowledge, and in essence trying to create a condition that a package of energy according to its strength can exist and absorb and give and coexist with other elements and convert to what man needs at the point of the need. Understanding of the work of the creation is simple. It just needs a little bit more observation, a little more depth of understanding. In understanding the totality, where does the man will end his own cycle? Do we restructure our physicality, and in approaching a position of desire, we manifest ourselves from the interaction of the field of our souls and the soul of the planet? Or do we manifest ourselves from the interaction of the soul of the man and the inertia field forces of the planet? We choose our existence, in which dimension we want to manifest ourselves, in a matter state or in a field state, and in what the strength of it. And in that process, with given magnetic fields, then the structure is decided. In so many ways, in the coming time, the mankind will decide through the interaction of the fields as they understand more of, in respect to the environment and inertia, and in respect to the field sources of the soul of the man and the planet, to change the color of their eye by choice, to change the color of their hair by choice, change the structure, short, tall, blonde, blue. Mankind now is given a choice and the technology to be able to reach this point. And this is part of the knowledge of the universe. This is a universal knowledge, because as you enter the universe, you can decide in how you will look to the man from planet Zeus. Maybe yellow color to man from the Zeus is a sign of love, and a red rose could be death. Then you have to understand the strength of the soul of the what we call the knowledge of the universe. Then you understand you don't need to learn a language. You only need to learn the essence of the emotion of the being, and the language of understanding will be spoken through the fields of the universe, an exchange between the two souls. In reality, we have been given, now we are in the position of a knowledge that we can dictate the destiny of our existence in the physical dimension. Do I want to change my position of physicality in 100 years, in 200 years? Would I like to be shown I'm 18 after 3,000 years? Or have the energy strength of a wise man, thousands? With the new understanding, do I want to possess the knowledge of the existence? Do I want to develop a technology which will affect the total existence of the man? And at the same time, would I be able to create a condition to bring the absorption of the fields of the universe in my position? In today's teaching, I try to explain a fundamental understanding of the creation of the atomic structure. This was explained in past few days to some of the knowledge seekers. And is, as I said, as we share with one, we share with many. And in that process, mankind has to understand the structure of the creation of his soul and its existence. As we say, as two plasmas interact, the interaction of the fields of the two plasmas lead to creation of the friction, could be light or another element. As we see, the interaction of the fields of the soul of the earth and the sun leads to the creation of matter state of the planet and leads to creation of its inertia. Then what would happen when the soul of the man interacts and we control with the soul of the physicality of the man? Then we can, in essence, by understanding this, eradicate any genetic defect in any human race or anyone in space. If you understand how to interact the soul of physicality in the matter strength and in the energy strength and in the plasma field strength with the soul of the man's field strength. Maybe one day mankind will come to a point that no child will be born with no, at all, zero defect. Perfect children according to the structure of the physical and biological structure of the matter state of their life on this planet. So in essence, how is the first atom created. When we bring the soul of physicality and the soul of the man together, the interaction of the field creates the physicality of the man, and it maintains that physical condition. We call it the body of the man. And when, in the essence of the creation of the universe, mankind understand this, man in the world of the science should be able soon to develop technologies that would lead to understanding of a new science, science of the plasma, science of understanding work of the universal plasma. In the interaction of the fields, the residual fields lead to creation of the plasmas. This we know for a long time. When we created these plasmas, in understanding of the structure and the interaction, they create what we know as twinity. They interact with each other. And in that process of interaction, some loses energy and some gains energy. And at a given point, when the interaction of the two fields cannot sustain totality of the energy due to the losses to the environment, something very simple happens. The one which has held to more energy or plasmatic condition will stay. The one who's lost will split and lead to the creation of first atomic structure. As this still interacts with the totality of the two, and this interacts with the totality of one entity. And in total, we see the structure of an atom. In reality, a creation of what we call atomic deuterium comes from the interaction of two neutrons. That as one loses fields as a twin set, it leads to the creation of a proton, electron, and a neutron, which the interaction of them by themselves create the atmospheric environment which manifests itself as a single atom. Then, in the interaction of these fields with the fields or planetary fields of space, will lead us to creation of the matter state. So we can have the existence of both plasma and matter state simultaneously in both dimensions from any element, depending on what we condition the environment to, that what that plasma will manifest itself in the form of. in so many ways, for the first time in the world of science and technology and physics and subatomic physics, we understand how the first atoms are created, where they come from the interaction of magnetic fields of two, what we call volume of fields in plasmatic condition, that in losing one divides itself to maintain the property of the interaction between the two original neutrons, and hence leads to creation of what we call trinity of electron, proton, and neutron. Then what has been one of the biggest dilemmas in the world of physics has been how some elements have additional neutrons in the space gap of their elements of protons, where we find less electrons in comparison to the neutron existence. Would there be a time when the neutrons in an atom will split and become another electron and proton without the structure breaking up? Yes, from now on these things are possible. In a way, in the nuclear atomic physics of the universe, we can allow every neutron to be converted into an electron and a proton on its own, and then at the same time, due to interference and interaction between the fields of the new entity, create a new material that man did never know can exist. By conversion of neutrons to electron and proton within the center of any nuclear or a nucleus of heavy element, man can increase in a new dimension and create new matters that has never been achieved. But with creating a magnetic field environment of holding, new elements can be created. Today's knowledge is deeply embedded in the plasma technology of this space, is embedded in the plasma technology of the universe. And as I told you about the 5 cups, in the coming time, this knowledge, the teaching of today, becomes the cornerstone, and in a way, in the alphabet of the universal knowledge of plasma. If you do not know how the first atom is created, how do you want to handle the bigger or convert? The creation of atomic structure and the fundamental atom and deuterium will be one of the keys of mankind entry to universal community knowledge of creation. Without it, mankind will be paralyzed. The knowledge will not be complete, and forever, as you never understood the initial algebra, how do you want to do heavy calculus and the rest of it. The cornerstone of the teaching, what I call the creation of the fundamental plasma and the fundamental atom, as we've seen in the past week and today, is the stepping stone for mankind to learn how to change and create matter and elements in the universe. How can we create the condition that two plasmas of a neutron come together, that they can lead to the creation of atom? At the moment, human race has achieved the division of the atom to create new elements. What we call the fusion of elements has not been possible, not even in the simple state of it. But if you understood the teaching of today, mankind can create any element in the universe without the creation of the fusion, but creating amalgamation of the field forces of the universe in one package, that in the presence of the creation of the gravitational field forces of the central principal matter of the unicos, then the size, the shape, and the energy field forces of that single neutron or a fundamental plasma is dictated. Do not forget, if you have read the books, the size of the neutron in this universe is very much different than the universe next to us and the other universes, because due to the fundamental field strength of the center and the environment that the cosmos of unicos allows, then that dictates the strength of the neutron or the amount of the energies which are within the neutron in each universe. The common denominator is not the neutron. The common denominator is the fundamental rays and photons and particles, which have no structure but dynamic field forces of their creation and the interaction with the field forces of their environment. Teaching of today might be heavy for some of you, but those who understand will be able to break into the space technology for production of everything they could imagine, from the soul of the man to the hydrogen in an instance. I've been asked to explain that you understand. I cannot explain it any simpler than this. In the coming time, in the new universal dynamic systems, which you will see from the Keshe Foundation, we will show the creation of these elements, the hydrogen, the creation of the fundamental plasma, neutron, in a simple systems. Keshe Foundation team has reached the point in research and development to the point that new systems, new technologies in the space development and motion, according to the laws of the universe, will be released. As I said to the heads of the Keshe Foundation, we try to release 2 new systems at least a year, a month, that it breaks through and in a way will overcome and bypass the present laws and understanding of the physics of the present time in the knowledge and vocabulary of the man. In a short time, we will show the new fundamentals flight system, which uses the universal flight system and not, as you are used to, with UFOs or the others. This is a knowledge beyond the present knowledge of humanity, but in essence is the knowledge of unicorns that will be shared amongst the world. And part of the structure of this will be the creation of the dynamic, what we call memory banks. In a way, when you hold the ball, you can speak any language in the universe as you understand it as emotion of the field. These units, these systems, in the coming weeks, in a very slow but the rapid pace, will be released. We do not work in the dimension of single plasma or single core. We work in changing the plasma of an environment in a very rapid way where life can be changed. In a way, for example, when you enter a building, any diseases which could be preset, anyone moves into this environment will not have, as we match the environment of the true essence of the perfect body. You walk in with diabetic, you walk out without diabetic, but not temporarily, but in essence, sorting and resetting the essential point where has been the creator of this condition. By end of this month, you will see 3 to 4 new universal based systems, which is never seen in public. We will offer technologies that even with CERN, as it happens to you in the universe, you can walk into the system and within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, walk out of the system without any corona or any possibility to catch this again. The new corona systems will be shown for the first time next week in Linz in Austria. We are set to break through the world of science in a very deep way, and there is nothing more deeper to do than this moment to change the course in respect to corona. 2 of these units is getting assembled and will be placed in the center. Those of you who have corona, you can walk in, spend 5-10 minutes in, walk out without corona. A more advanced version of these will be changed into what we call the enhancement systems. You wish gold, you make gold. But now we use the universal systems and not the present technology. As I said, we'll punch drunk the world of science and technology in the next 5 months. That man forgets about most of the things he made to kill, to destroy, and feel more powerful than the others to enforce their will. Are there any questions? Or have we understood before we teach more and nobody understands?
Well, there's certainly some very big ideas that you've been divulging today, Mr. Keshe.
These are not ideas. We have the systems and technologies to deliver. A new technology has been released to the scientific team of the Keshe Foundation in past days, unknown to man. And this brings the new dimension. And this is the beginning of many things that gradually will filter down through the teachings and through the universal community and through the structure of the Keshe Foundation in teaching. These new technologies has never been seen, but has been taught and getting developed that it can show their effect collectively.
Mr. Keshe, you mentioned the creation of the fundamental rays, and I was wondering if that's part of the process of this creation of materials, and basically the key to the creating any element of the universe that we wish. That makes sense, but the creation of these fundamental rays, that's a big one. So I have a question: are those fundamental rays present around us now, and do we sort of open up a space for them, like in the creation of a vacuum and that kind of thing? Or is the creation of these rays more, you have to set up conditions in a certain way to create those rays rather than sort of unveil them? Could you explain more about that?
Both, in both ways. These fundamental rays are rays that any element in the universe can be made out of. One ray has the power to create plutonium, uranium, hydrogen, and many other elements, and even in the strength of the ray exists the strength of the soul of the man and beyond. Fundamental rays are what we call the mother, the creator. They are continuously created and continuously used. Is interaction and collection of the fundamental energies of the fundamental, what we call plasmatic fields, that the collective existence leads to the creation of these rays. Fundamental rays are in essence the creators of the life, in any essence, in any shape or form. Only difference with them is they are on a high, fast moving condition, as rays cannot be standstill. So they can reach at any point an interaction with the fields of the environment, manifest themselves according to the field strength of the inertia of the environment in a collective matter or energy of that environment. In a way, some of the what we see on planet Earth, like the huge gold mines, come from one single ray. In conversion of its energy in interaction with the field forces of the planet leads to creation of one entity in such a mass and such a vast environment. Usually, fundamental waves lead to creation of the inner sanctum structure of the core of planet. And they usually reach there and they enhance it. And by delivering such a vast amount of energy, we see the explosion or repositioning of the planetary system or a star. Any other question?
We had a discussion about trying to discern the difference between a ray and a field, and do rays travel in basically straight lines unless they encounter some sort of inertial thing to slow them down? Like you mentioned just now, they're active, they're dynamic.
They bounce off, depending on a field strength. They bounce off their own environment as much as they get absorbed into that environment. It depends on the speed, the strength, and the position of the fields of the plasma.
And in a sense, they're always in some environment of one kind or another, even if it's in space. So they're subjected to different conditions, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay, we have Ed with a hand up here, and we have a number of questions in the Q&A from Salomia, who perhaps might want to ask the questions directly, but they are relevant questions, so perhaps I'll ask one of those first, and then we'll go to Ed. So Salomia's first question was, the soul of the divine is plasma. Plasma is our soul. What is the structure?
The structure of the soul of the man is a collective field forces which have and will never reach at a given point on the planet Earth and beyond into matter state, and is still held as in their energy level.
What would that be in relation to the fundamental rays? What is the structure of the soul in relation to those fundamental rays?
In a way, the soul itself could have been made from a single fundamental ray, depending on the environment and what it gives.
makes sense. We can see how the strength of
it
the
does.
soul is according to position, and the position and strength, basically. It's every thing finds its position in the universe. Well, Salamani goes on to say the soul is the black matter or energy or antimatter. What is plasma? Is it energy or a wave?
Both, but nothing is a black. Darkness of a plasma is indication of the lack of interaction of the fields within its environment.
Black's just to our eye matter, basically.
Yeah,
amino
it's just a
acids.
black, not necessarily means it's there, we see it.
Okay, if we can allow Ed to have a question here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Would you
Um,
like to introduce yourself, please, as usual?
my name is Ed Weatherall. I'm from Indiana in the United States, Bloomington, Indiana.
Yep.
My question is regarding the transition of the plasmatic state into the physicality state. I am still not quite understanding it. I know you have just...
Your problem, sorry, jumping in, it's very easy. I'll do it if we go further. The plasma, when it comes in interaction with the plasmatic strength of the matter, what we call inertia, it'll take, if it has a connection link, if it has the same strength link, field strength will accept that position to hold or convert some of its plasmas to manifest itself in the matter state. When a plasma could be, let's say, 1.5, and the inertia is 1, that 1.5 can become to accept the inertia of 1 to manifest the matter, and 50% of the half will be released as a plasmatic field in the environment. Is not all tailor-made and could be a little bit less, but as the common denominator allows it, will convert a smaller plasma into the same matter. That's what we call isotopes. Isotopes, in fact, the Earth creates one standard field, let's say, for the copper. But any energy fields, plasmatic, which falls within the gravitational field forces of the neutron of the copper, then it allows the plasmatic condition to accept the position of one of the isotopes of copper.
Okay. I'm not sure I quite understand, but that clarified somewhat.
Listen to it
Okay.
again and again till you understand.
Okay. Can I just clarify? I mean, I had some thoughts on it. Could I just speak them out, or shall I just go?
I'll become a knowledge seeker and you become a teacher.
So I was wondering, and I'm from what you just said, I'm not quite sure this is correct, but when the plasmatic state encounters the environment of the existing physicality state, when it interacts and it comes to where it's close enough to a matching energetic state, is that the point where the physicality happens? Or was that totally unclear?
I think
Pretty clear, and the answer is yes, more or less.
Oh,
Because you see some field of the plasma, let's say it's of gold. Yeah? But on the surface of the planet is silica. But the gravitational magnetic field of the inertia within the structure of the planetary system, which has created the inertia of gold, will attract that plasma of gold from the space into it. This is why, as I've said before, gold mines will never cease to exist if man understands this principle. Most of the materials on the surface of the planet come from the interaction of the fields of magnetic of the planet and the star and its solar system field forces. And they just get stacked up or get built inside. If we repeat the same environment with the same availability of the magnetic fields of a plasma, or create such a condition, above the surface of the earth compared to what is inside, we can produce the material inside continuously for everlasting supply of anything you need.
okay, very good.
Do I get the mark or not?
You got all the marks. I'm hoping to get one here. So I'm going to go over that again and again. The question you answered just previous to my being unmuted brought another question to mind about the ray. Rick asked about the ray becoming the soul, and you said it depended on its interaction with its environment. And I understand that as the ray comes into contact with different environments, then it can manifest itself as a soul. But I'm wondering if the ray part is the part that forms the creator part of our soul, and the environment forms the other unique aspects of the soul that are particular to that environment, such as our earth environment. But our connection to the creator comes from that fundamental ray.
In essence, you're right. The interaction of our soul with the soul of the planet leads to the creation of our physical existence. And if we change anything in it according to what we change, we'll get different appearances of physical matter condition of observation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Those of you who understood the teaching of today should be able to make your UFOs by tomorrow. It's so simple.
Keshe Azar has a hand up here.
Hello, Azar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe. I have an odd question.
That's usual with you, no problem.
You see, if I understood it correct, everything in the universe, when I look at it in terms of plasma, is rotating. Like everything rotates. For example, when you look at the strength of the maglev of the plasmatic strength of the Earth, according to itself, the center and outside, it makes the Earth rotate around its axis. And then because of the plasmatic maglev strength of the sun to the Earth, it makes the Earth rotate around the sun. Now, the question is, the soul of the man and the physicality of the man, there's two different plasmatic maglev strengths. So are they rotating one against the other one?
One is confining the other one.
So
The soul of the physicality, in so many ways, is confined by the plasma field forces of the blood.
But if we can get the soul of the man to have higher strength according, to the plasmatic maglev strength, compared to the physical soul, we can release the soul, can we? Is it correct?
Yes, but what do you think? Can it be done that way?
Because the only thing we have to do, increase the strength, the plasmatic maglev strength of the soul, in compared to the plasmatic maglev strength of physical soul. Once we can get that rotation going, it means the soul open up, the cage open up, the soul comes out.
Would it be better to burn it from inside?
What does it mean?
Just create a hole and burn it through, than going through all this trouble.
So where is the hole?
You created. In a coming time, we'll teach what we call creation of packages. We talked about this a few years ago, but what we call the new envelopes for delivery of what we call information will be in a totally different structure than we know today. It will be done on the structure of the brain of the man.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have Jalal next.
Good evening, Mr. Keshe.
Good evening, Mr. Jalal.
Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, I have a question, please.
Have you ever had one? You always have a question. You're the same as us.
Yes, of course. I have two also. But,
two, yeah, that's the problem.
You know the coincidence? Today I told the knowledge seekers we should be tomorrow have our UFO.
Yeah.
And you just brought it up. If you understand this teaching, I need to go back to it. So tomorrow we will have our spaceship.
Yeah.
And today I am nearly there. The question.
To the space or to the ship?
It's very easy, both of them.
Yeah.
How much time take the soul to establish in the womb of the mother after the interaction between the egg and
You always say about 100 days.
how much, sir?
How much do you think? Forget about what I said. How much do you think?
No, please. This is important for me, at least.
So repeat the question.
How much it take for a soul to be established in the womb of the mother when the interaction between the egg and sperm coming together?
What do you think?
In soul level, I think instant before it's the matter state come together, but because there is a matter state in the equation and the emotion.
I'm keeping silent.
Okay. And if I want
What
to
was the
compare it-
answer?
huh?
What was the answer?
It is due for the energy field and the environment which I put it in.
Yeah, but you have one arm or one leg. What about that one?
It's not important physicality. I need only the establishment of the soul. That is what's important for me now.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Can I
Hello?
join with the
Yes.
discussion? I'm
How much you pay?
Yes, Madam Nin.
I remember I read the book, The Flower of the Life. It is said after 8 cells are created, and then the soul, physics soul are created. But my question is, when the soul of man is created, or is the soul of man is exactly come from the what you call the fundamental ray from the creator directly into the body when the body are created?
Oh, go back on the skin, see how the skin is created. Or flat cheese. The understanding knowledge is how the fields interact, and their interaction with respect to the fields of the soul of the planet allows life in the womb of the mother to take shape. And then in the progressive development of the shape of this plasma leads to creation of physicality of the life. But the magnetic gravitational field forces of the earth still have a huge say on development of this fetus inside the body of man, even though it's been in the womb of the mother. This, if we understand, we can take a lot of things to answer very quickly. many deeper understanding, much more deeper understanding of the creation of the soul is needed for mankind to comprehend the totality. As I said in some of the teachings before, the soul of the man is not just the energy pack. The soul of the man is the extension and totality of life. And in essence, when it interacts with the physical magnetic field of the planet, what we call inertia, then it's choice how we want to manifest itself. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Jest koniec tłumaczenia tego warsztatu. Został nam jeszcze fragment z zeszłego tygodnia, około 8 minut. Tak więc nie wiem, albo zrobimy teraz chwilę przerwy i ktoś chciałby coś dopowiedzieć, albo wytłumaczyć to, co tutaj było, lub jakieś pytanie zadać, albo wrócimy od razu do wcześniejszego i po tym fragmencie zamkniemy jakby projekcję i będzie można zabrać głos. Tak więc nie wiem, jak ktoś tam by chciał.
Myślę, że możemy, Jarku, może spróbujemy zostać na razie przy tym warsztacie. Zobaczymy, dokąd nas poprowadzi jakaś dyskusja, omówienie tego. No i jakby było dużo tematów, dużo byśmy omawiali, to wtedy ten fragment nawet możemy sobie w niedzielę puścić, a jeśli to nam szybko pójdzie, nie będzie zbyt wielu głosów, wypowiedzi, to wtedy dość szybko przejdziemy po prostu do tego zaległego kawałka. Nie?
No w porządku. Tak więc zapraszamy.
Okej, skoro nie mam pytania, postaram się streścić tutaj te wątki, które były przez doktora Keshe wymienione gdzieś tam oczywiście przez pryzmat swojego zrozumienia. Być może to gdzieś tam dojdziemy z tego do jakichś pytań albo dyskusji, jeśli ktoś by też miał ochotę dodać ze swojego zrozumienia. Także od początku tego warsztatu mieliśmy, w zasadzie wracamy do tego, co fizycy nasi, można powiedzieć współcześni, określają jako podstawowe elementy budulcowe tej materii, którą obserwujemy, czyli mowa tutaj o protonie, elektronie, neutronie. No to można by się spierać, czy podstawowe, bo oczywiście wchodzimy też jeszcze głębiej gdzieś tam, ta fizyka cząstek elementarnych wchodzi jeszcze w kwarki, czy tam jeszcze głębiej, ale tutaj powiedzmy nie będziemy się aż tak głęboko zagłębiać. I doktor Keshe przez cały warsztat w zasadzie tłumaczy nam to, że w kosmosie ciągle tworzy się plazma, mamy też plazmę, mamy też to, co jest przed plazmą, czyli promienie, mamy te elementy istniejące bez swojej fizyczności, można powiedzieć, czyli możemy tutaj odnieść się do tego, co też kosmolodzy, można powiedzieć, mówią, że obserwujemy tylko na przykład 4% wszechświata, no więc tu możemy się odnieść do tego, w ten sposób też, że oprócz tego, co widzimy ludzkim okiem, aminokwasem naszego oka jako materię, jest też całe morze, można powiedzieć ocean, niezmierzony tego, co niefizyczne, co nie jest po prostu dla nas namacalne, obserwowalne, ale istnieje tam właśnie w postaci plazmy, w postaci też promieni, które właśnie nie posiadają tej fizyczności. Tutaj dr Keshe zwraca też uwagę na to, że podróżując tym statkiem kosmicznym, spaceshipem, te plazmy, które nie posiadają fizyczności w oddziaływaniu, w interakcji z tym statkiem, który też tutaj podróżuje dość, można powiedzieć, wysokiej czy silnej sile pól, może w tym oddziaływaniu stawać się dla tego statku materią, więc musimy te aspekty zrozumieć, rozważyć w tych elemencie chociażby podróży, o której tutaj często mówimy, o podróży kosmicznej. Później mieliśmy odniesienie się też tutaj, przechodzimy z mikro w makro w różne skale, można powiedzieć, do kreacji duszy w łonie matki, gdzie ten proces, tak jak tu mieliśmy rozmowę w tym kontekście, bierze się właśnie z interakcji materii tych dwóch elementów, jajeczka i plemnika. Po czym dr Keshe mówi, że opisując ten proces, mówi o tym, że możemy, rozumiejąc właśnie jak ten proces się odbywa, możemy tworzyć duszę zamiast tego na przykład, co potocznie nazywamy klonowaniem, czyli klonowaniem tej fizyczności, można powiedzieć, danej istoty. Tak tutaj możliwa też jest kreacja duszy właśnie na tym poziomie, czyli można powiedzieć z energii. To jest to, co dr Keshe mówi o transmutacji elementów, o poruszaniu się w obie strony, czyli z materii w energię, z energii w materię i tutaj mamy właśnie ten aspekt, gdzie to właśnie materia tworzy tą duszę w procesie w łonie matki, można powiedzieć, w procesie poczęcia. I ten proces od razu dr Keshe porównuje do tego, że tak samo jest z promieniami na Ziemi, z których tworzy się na przykład złoto, srebro czy różne inne elementy. I tak samo możemy rozumieć właśnie podróż i manifestację w jakimś środowisku, tak samo jak mówimy tutaj o kreacji duszy tutaj na Ziemi, czy w łonie matki, tak samo możemy ten aspekt rozpatrywać w każdym dowolnym innym środowisku, które to środowisko, siła pól tego środowiska, tak jak pod koniec nawet dr Keshe mówił, że pole magnetyczno-grawitacyjne Ziemi cały czas w trakcie jak ten zarodek, to małe dziecko rozwija się w łonie matki, cały czas ma wpływ na jego rozwój, na to, jak kreowana jest fizyczność tego dziecka. Tak samo mieliśmy w kontekście języka, komunikacji, skoro mówimy już o podróży, tutaj mamy aspekt wykreowania się, a także komunikowania się ze środowiskiem, w którym się kreujemy. I tutaj jako klucz dr Keshe wskazywał to, żeby zrozumieć tylko siłę emocji tej drugiej istoty, z którą staramy się komunikować, a wtedy dusze w ten sposób wymienią się informacjami, więc ta komunikacja wcale nie musi wychodzić poza pasmo, można powiedzieć, emocji, siły pól emocji. Nie musimy w ogóle rozpatrywać tego w tych wolniejszych elementach, w elementach, które nazywamy materią, czyli na przykład komunikacja chociażby właśnie werbalna, werbalizowanie tego, tych myśli, które chcemy przekomunikować, a tutaj zatrzymujemy się na tym etapie, można powiedzieć, na poziomie komunikacji, właśnie na poziomie emocji. I tak samo wracając do absolutnych podstaw plazmy, mówimy o tym, że właśnie to tarcie, frykcja dwóch plazm tworzy światło lub materię. To widzimy na przykładzie właśnie tego tarcia między plazmą Ziemi a plazmą Słońca, gdzie uzyskujemy światło, ale uzyskujemy też materię, te promienie, które do Ziemi docierają pod wpływem właśnie środowiska, przybierają taką lub inną postać materii, jednego lub innego pierwiastka. Ale też w tym procesie tworzy się to, jeśli zmienimy trochę skalę i myślimy tutaj o kreacji samej planety, to w momencie, kiedy mamy też tworzenie się materii, mówimy tutaj też o tworzeniu się tej bezwładności wokół tej materii, czy na przestrzeni tej materii, można powiedzieć. I tak samo, jeśli mówimy o tarciu się dwóch plazm. Mówiliśmy o dwóch planetach, tak samo wiemy o tym, że dusza człowieka, właśnie jej tarcie, interakcja z duszą fizyczności, wynikiem tej interakcji tego tarcia jest właśnie fizyczność ciała człowieka. I później dr Keshe wrócił rozwijał, można powiedzieć, te podstawy plazmy, opisał nam pierwszą strukturę atomową. Mieliśmy narysowane dwie plazmy, które w interakcji ze sobą jedna karmi drugą. Ta interakcja w pewnym momencie, gdy staje się niestabilna, to ten silniejszy element zostaje, można powiedzieć, nie zmienia swojej tożsamości, którą jest właśnie, omawiamy to jako element neutronu, a ta słabsza plazma dzieli się właśnie na plazmę protonu i elektronu. I w ten sposób omawiamy sobie kreację tego pierwszego, można powiedzieć, atomu, w jaki sposób ta podstawowa fizyczna struktura się kreuje w tym procesie. Była też wzmianka o deuterze. Myślę, że tam też warto wrócić do tego fragmentu, sobie jeszcze raz posłuchać. A jeśli chodzi o sam neutron, to też dr Keshe mówi ciekawą rzecz, że neutron ma inną siłę, w każdym wszechświecie ma inną siłę, bo to właśnie centrum tego wszechświata dyktuje, ile ten neutron może przyjąć energii. A jeszcze w kontekście emocji mieliśmy taką wzmiankę, że właśnie to zrozumienie emocji pól pozwala na komunikację. Mieliśmy też zapowiedź nowych systemów uniwersalnych, na przykład takich, które są w stanie radzić sobie z wirusem korony. Właśnie dzięki Jarku to jest to, co mówiliśmy o pierwszej strukturze atomowej, czyli te dwie plazmy na środku kartki, które mamy narysowane, i później ten proces był tutaj omawiany dalej. Po lewej stronie mamy właśnie tą frykcję, tarcie się plazmy Słońca i Ziemi i cały ten rysunek, tak jak było mówione. Także mieliśmy tą zapowiedź nowych systemów uniwersalnych. Była mowa, skoro mówimy o pierwszej strukturze atomowej, to też były pytania o podstawy plazmy, czyli o te podstawowe promienie, na co dr Keshe opisywał je w taki sposób, że są bardzo szybkie, mogą manifestować się w danym środowisku, nawet jako cała góra złota, czy na przykład ruda żelaza, czy jakiegokolwiek innego pierwiastka, czyli nie mówimy tutaj o tym, że muszą się manifestować 1 na 1, jeśli chodzi o te cegiełki, to co rozważamy jako takie cegiełki, które budują naszą materię, czyli atomy różnych pierwiastków, tylko jeśli ten promień, w zależności od tego, jak dużo energii w sobie niesie, taki ma, można powiedzieć, potencjał do rozpakowania się w środowisku w danej sile pól, danego pierwiastka, danej fizyczności. A struktura duszy człowieka, tu w odpowiedzi też na pytanie dr Keshe mówi, to kolektywna siła pól człowieka, które nigdy to pola nie osiągną stanu materii, czyli gdzieś tam są stabilne w tej sile pól, w jakiej się znajdują, i one nie rozpakowują się dalej do stanu materii, tylko mówiliśmy sobie to wcześniej, że to interakcja pól duszy człowieka z duszą fizyczności tworzy tą materię, a nie sama to dusza człowieka. I tak samo ta dusza człowieka może być stworzona z jednego promienia, w zależności od środowiska i tego, ile ono daje. Były tutaj porównania, mieliśmy pytania, ktoś porównywał właśnie ten promień do naszego kreatora, bo skoro z promienia może wytworzyć się dusza, no to jest to w pewnym sensie początek, czy kreator tej kreacji w tym aspekcie, jeśli to omawiamy. I tak samo wydaje mi się, że tutaj ten promień, skoro mówimy o kreowaniu się duszy z promienia, tak samo możemy wrócić do tych warsztatów, w których dr Keshe opisywał przesyłanie jakiejś informacji, często opisywał ten proces do wsadzania w tej informacji w kopertę, można powiedzieć. Często mieliśmy właśnie takie odniesienia na warsztatach i tutaj myślę, że tutaj w kontekście promienia możemy też pomyśleć o tym, że możemy stosować tą analogię koperty, gdzie jesteśmy w stanie, skoro z niego jest w stanie wykreować taki element jak dusza, to tak samo jest to kanał komunikacji, którym ten element może być transportowany, jest to w pewnym sensie naszą kopertą, czy kanałem, przez który ta koperta może przelecieć. To w zasadzie tyle, jeśli chodzi o tą część pierwszą tego warsztatu. Jeśli ktoś ma ochotę coś dodać, uzupełnić, przedstawić swoje zrozumienie, to zapraszam. Dzięki.
Dzięki, Przemek, za streszczenie i wytłumaczenie na swój sposób. Jeśli nie ma pytań, to ja włączę ten fragment może z zeszłego spotkania.
The links of the foundation, cut it off. Remember one thing, your support puts you and your family in it, and then the people who trust you to come in it, unless you're a source of, you want to be a source of these things, and they use it freely. We saw how out of Alan is telling, over 120,000 pizza pies have been found, and up to 7,000 now have been captured. Now they come through a new way. Let us help me to set up ETAS knowledge seekers. You're a knowledge seeker, never touch, because you get involved in the things which my ETAS doesn't sit with. This is awareness of the truth. And these people, very simply, have a long history of criminal pedophilia in the family, all passing prison sentences. How come suddenly? We realize a lot of people come to the foundation, attach themselves to get access to the data and the people we have. And we become very much aware of it. And that's why the top side of the management is totally sealed. Trusted people we trust and we work with. And this is important for all of us. Now we have a commitment to a society, not individuality anymore. It is not easy to sit at this position of the Keshe Foundation. It's not just giving the knowledge, but protecting the knowledge seekers too. Knowledge seekers help me with IT and the rest. Knowledge seeker, give me access to your children and your family and the rest of it. This is what we have to understand. This is our obligation, because at the end of it, you became knowledge seekers because of my knowledge. Not to be abused by those who abuse my knowledge and the connections to me. I teach you the advanced technology, I teach you the space travel, I teach you the health, I teach you the ethos of the conduct, but at the same time, I have to protect you too. And this is important to all of us. We have to, even when we come in touch with the universal community, their safety, their health has to be paramount and over exceeding our concern about ours. Then otherwise we are there just to use and abuse. This is part of the ethics of understanding. This is what I said in the new process, we teach it. You want something, you ask, and if you are given, is your right with understanding, not your right to take and run. I always ask, if I'm given, I learn from the process, but at the same time, I respect the way what I'm given, be it the knowledge, be it whatever. Not just because I have a ramsack. And this is part of the ethos of universal knowledge. It's the ethos that you have to learn. When we come across the universal community and we create that condition, their existence, their well-being has to be over exceeding ours, because we made the structure to be with them. We have to make sure they don't get harmed. We have to make sure we give the right information the right way, that those who come to us realize we care for them more than we care for ourselves. And then you will see the breakthrough. You will see the breakthrough in knowledge and technology and transfer it to humanity. It cannot be us, teach us everything, how you fly and everything. What is there? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to respect them for the knowledge they give you? This is part of the teaching. This is part of the understanding. It's not, yes, thank you very much, I've got everything I want and goodbye. Even in the personal life, that has to be considered. What you're given, you thank those who given it to you, because they have given from their lives and their resources, respecting it.
Mr. Keshe, I have one concern, one question about what you're talking about. When people, some of these people who are doing this right now, they've been into this knowledge and learning so much what this knowledge is all about. Because I know as I'm learning this knowledge and I'm learning from you all the steps about creation and where we came from, I completely understand. I can really switch between I know when is my physical soul is in action or when is my soul in action. I can see the separation, and actually I'm getting better. So these people who came along for so long and they understand the knowledge, why suddenly
they never understood the knowledge. They never understood the knowledge. They never understood the knowledge. This is the essence of it. People who came with clandestine activities and the work and their way, they never understood the knowledge. Show us what did they contribute a thing into the development. They never, they pretend. We've seen many of them. We've seen many of them. And those who came and made the screw and then they went, they found out the screw they made doesn't fit anything. Even they thought it's the biggest innovation and invention. The reality is the totality of understanding. We plan for the safety and we progress in that direction for the safety. And the safety of the others, especially in the world of creation, has to be paramount over ours. If you give a knowledge and you have a fear of what they might do with it, you better don't give a knowledge. But if you give a knowledge with the joy that I give and my ethos and my ways that you progress positively, then you will progress. Your message will go through clearly and you reach or you achieve what you wanted to achieve. But believing and doing what you believe in a correct way to elevate the soul of the collective life, not only humanity, but into universal community, counts a lot. You just become aware of existence of the family. It's just like you walk on the street and you meet someone and you find, oh, they're a distant cousin. Now we have found our distant cousins. Doesn't mean that they were not there, they were part of the process while you were brought up, you're educated, they were brought up and educated, now you meet. It's the same position now with the universal community. Now we meet. And we all progressed in parallel with each other. Life didn't stop because one of us was existing. And this is what the humanity is going to face. Now we join a family which we knew is there, but now we developed in different ways, and now we merge the two and we give to each other the best of what we have learned. When you meet your family, you don't give them the rotten apple in the box, you give the best apple to the box, to your family. And that's how it is. And that's how mankind will shine in a new universal community. Mankind has made a lot of contribution towards the even development of the part of the knowledge of the universe without them knowing.
Mr. Keshe, you know, before I never
Chciałby ktoś zabrać głos jeszcze dzisiaj? Jeśli nie ma pytań, to na dzisiaj skończymy. Myślę, że to nie był łatwy dzisiejszy warsztat. Logika pewnie u niektórych się pogubiła. Tak więc zapraszamy na kolejne spotkanie. Zapraszam do przesłuchania sobie tego jeszcze raz. Na dzisiaj już kończymy. To były 412 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z dnia czwartku 5 listopada 2020 roku. Dziękuję za przetłumaczenie i do usłyszenia. Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.